I, 22, live in a shared house with a landlord and his two sons, and a woman, 28, and her daughter, 8. Yesterday, the landlord plus his kids were away visiting some family, and the other woman works a crazy schedule. I was sleeping in my room when I woke up by the kid, 8, screaming like crazy, about 2 a.m. I figured the mother was not home, so I put on my headphones, but in a few minutes she was banging on my door, still screaming and crying. I panicked thinking something horrible was going on outside, so I shut myself in my room's bathroom and called the police. They could hear the screaming on the call, so they came very quickly. Turns out the kid had a nightmare and was really scared, and the paramedics had to put some medicine on her to calm her down. Then the police asked me a lot of questions, if I was the guardian, to explain our living situation, if I knew where the mother was, etc. I told them I was not aware the kid was alone because the mother has a crazy schedule and I don't know where she works. I provided her phone number, but they couldn't reach her, so they took the kid to the police station. I went back to sleep and woke up by the mother banging on my door and screaming at me for what happened yesterday. She said the police won't give her daughter back, and I'm an idiot for calling them for something as silly as a nightmare, that I should have just calmed the kid down instead of making it a huge deal. I told her that it's not my responsibility to take care of her daughter. I barely interact with any of them, and I was not going to open my door to someone screaming like crazy because it could be dangerous. I think it was the right choice to call the police, but I told the situation to my mother, and she says either way I should have checked on the kid and tried to help, because sharing a house also means helping out with this kind of things. I find it odd that your immediate response to hearing a crying or screaming child is to lock yourself up and call the police without even attempting to check on the child. This is coming from someone who is child-free, not a mother. Yeah, it's not your kid and not your responsibility, and the mother obviously shouldn't have left the child home alone, but damn, that's some really selfish behavior. I want to say you're the idiot, but I have to lean more towards everyone's idiot here. Mother was in the wrong for leaving her kid solo, but you're definitely wrong for not even checking on the kid and just taking care of yourself. You knew who was making the noise. You knew it was an 8 years old. You would not have put yourself in any danger by opening the door and helping the child. However, the mom just left her to sleep alone. I don't know if the landlord's family has helped in the past or if this is a regular thing, but the mom should have spoken to you directly if she wanted you to be responsible in any way. As someone who's been falsely accused of being inappropriate with a child, when I was trying to comfort her as she was crying, not the idiot, because one unhinged or malicious person can cause you a world of trouble, even if your intentions and actions are entirely above board. A lot of people here are saying you're the idiot for not risking your safety and security for the potential benefit of a child you don't know. I totally disagree with this perspective. Putting yourself in a potentially dangerous situation to help out someone else does not make you an idiot, no matter who they are. There's a reason when air masks deploy on planes that you put yours on before your children. You do more good alive. Getting to safety and calling the cops was a more prudent move that increases the odds of things ending well for everyone. My parents were married for 24 years. I, 22, am their only child together. My dad had 2 sons and a daughter with his first wife. When I was a kid they shared custody until their mom was sent to jail for something she did to my mom. Before that she really made sure my half-siblings hated my mom. They treated her terribly. They called CPS on her twice claiming she was abusing them, which she wasn't, and the second time my mom moved out with me, so my dad could be the only adult in the home with them. They stayed married and they tried to work on the family unit, but my siblings weren't interested, and as soon as their mom got released they moved in with her and we moved back in with my dad. Dad still chased my half-siblings and tried to make us a family. My mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was 11 and she fought like hell for 11 years. My dad ended up being her caregiver and he did a good job in some ways. But he left her exposed to my half-siblings. I want to say I blame them, but I know none of it would have happened without their mom. Still, when 14-year-old me found my half-sister telling my mom she couldn't wait for her to die, and my dad had asked my half-sister to stay with my mom, I knew there was also something wrong with them, because she was 20 at the time of the incident. It broke my mom, but she was fighting so hard to stay alive she forgot to fight for making her life overall better. My mom died 2 months ago. She wanted to live longer, For me, the cancer took hold of her. My dad chased my half-siblings down and begged them to come to the funeral. He tried to encourage them to help us plan and be with us. My oldest half-brother showed up the night before the funeral to tell us his mom and siblings were so freaking glad she was dead and the world was a better place without my mom because she was nothing but a nasty idiot who married someone else's sloppy seconds. I kicked him out so damn fast. And I was pissed at my dad too. I didn't tell him until last week. I mostly ignored him after the funeral. But he kept pushing lately and so I replied. I told him he failed us. He let my mom down when she needed him the most, and he chose 3 people so full of hatred that they act like monsters. I told him I couldn't even look at him. A lot of my dad's siblings got involved because they feel I was too harsh after the loss he suffered. It's making me feel a tiny bit bad. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like your father let a lot of people down, including your half-siblings who never learned to properly cope with or accept the fact that he moved on from their mother and remarried. That was a failure on the adults in your family and how they managed communication amongst you all while growing up. There is however no excuse for how they treated your mother, and I agree that her care and comfort should have been the priority. Firstly, your mom was a fighter. She fought for half your life just so she can spend more time with you. You should be proud of her and remember only your memories with her. I sincerely wish you will find strength from those memories and find peace. I cannot imagine being 20 and going to a terminally ill patient that they want her dead. I cannot imagine a guy who was supposed to protect her bring more grief before final rest. I cannot imagine being asked to still be together with someone who is so full of hate for your mother even when she passed away. Not the idiot. Absolutely. You don't need them in your life. Even if you have to cut off your dad from your life, stay as far away from them as possible. The truth hurts, but you spoke the truth. Your dad is just dense. Why do these people just not accept the truth that blended families don't always work? Your dad did so much wrong to your mom. For every sibling that says you did wrong, ask them why they didn't step up and tell your dad he was harming his wife. Actually, just block them for a while. You don't need nor deserve the aggravation. I'm so sorry for your loss. I, 29, had my son, 11, with my ex. My son is autistic and does not like it when people touch his belongings. When I had him, my ex decided he didn't want to be a father and abandoned us. My parents were lifesavers. They took care of him when I had to attend college classes. I work full-time now and live in a great apartment. My ex reached out when son turned 8 and wanted to meet him. I brought him to a nearby park and we came to an agreement that son can stay with ex every other weekend. I bought my son a Switch for his 8th birthday and he brings it with him everywhere. My ex has been seeing a girl for the past couple of months who has a daughter, 15. My son came back home yesterday and didn't speak to me at all when I picked him up. I was extremely worried and called my ex when I got home. He told me that son wasn't letting girlfriend's daughter play on the Switch and he grabbed it out of son's hand. Girlfriend's daughter dropped it down the stairs and it has a huge crack in the screen. I went to talk to my son and told him that I would be happy to get him a new Switch and any game that he wants. He was very happy and told me that he didn't want to go back to ex's house because the daughter was mean to him. I told him that I was not going to force him to do anything he didn't want. My ex wanted to take my son this coming weekend. I told him that we had plans to go to a theme park and that son didn't want to go over to the house. I told my ex that the daughter made son very uncomfortable. My ex flipped out and accused me of keeping son away from him. I had enough at that point and hung up on ex. Am I the idiot for not forcing son to like girlfriend's daughter? Not the idiot. Though I wouldn't have allowed overnights immediately considering your son has autism and your ex literally abandoned you guys a decade ago. Your ex probably has no idea how to parent a child on the spectrum and definitely hasn't earned the right to immediate access. What if he decides later on down the road that he's bored and disappears again? Does he know how to comfort your son and help him through any difficult situation that may arise? Can he communicate effectively with your son? Does he know his boundaries? I mean, obviously not, or he wouldn't have snatched something right out of his hands. You're not the idiot here. The way your ex treated your son wasn't okay regardless of whether or not he has autism, but I'd definitely be more wary moving forward. Not the idiot. you have full custody. This absent father has no legal right to demand weekends. Continue protecting and listening to your son. Don't let this man tell you what to do. And you're not forcing your son to not like this father of one weekend current girlfriend's child, they did that themselves. I am surprised you even allowed a weekend to begin with. He's playing fake because his current girl has a child and wants to act like he's a father all of a sudden. Why should OP pay for the new Switch when the damage to the original device was caused by ex and girlfriend's daughter? They should pay for the new device. Or at least you should ask for the money back for replacement. A Switch is not that cheap. You and your son should stay away from this dude. I don't know why, but I get some strange vibes from this. Like he is only asking to see your son to look like a good father in front of his girlfriend. Not many people getting suddenly remorseful to this extent after 11 years. Me, 27, and my girlfriend, 28, have been dating for a little over 6 years now. We got engaged 2 years ago and had to postpone our wedding because of COVID, but my parents were never accepting of us. I'm a lesbian, I came out to them at 16, and they always acted like it was something for me to grow out of and that it wasn't possible for girls like me to not be attracted to men. I've had other partners in the past, and they never showed interest and always seemed to try to get me to break up with them with dumb excuses, such as you should finish your studies and get a job first, while encouraging my younger sister to get boyfriends when she was 12. It didn't make much sense. My parents were always rude to my wife, I'll call her Jenny, for the sake of this post. They would never smile in her presence, talk to her in mumbles and whisper to each other whenever they saw her. They never once showed interest in our relationship and brushed it off as a phase stemming from past trauma. When told them I got engaged, they were outraged. They yelled at me and then cried, asking each other where they went wrong with me. It was getting out of control. They asked me why I was throwing my life away for a girl, told me I was too pretty to be a lesbian, and kept saying I didn't love Jenny. I was silent throughout this entire thing, and once it seemed like they were done, I walked out of there and I haven't spoken to them since. Once the wedding was over, I got approached by a few accepting family members asking why my parents weren't there. I tried my best to explain it to them, but it seemed like they were more concerned about my parents' feelings than my own or my Jenny's. I want to make it clear that I'm not holding a grudge against my parents, so if they ever do grow to acceptance or if they're ever open to learning more about this, I'll happily welcome them back into my life. My parents found out about the wedding and got very angry at me. They sent over 50 voice messages each, without exaggeration, and I only got around to listening to 13 of them. So far they've all been angry and yelling, which isn't very good for my mental health, so I've procrastinated listening to the rest. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. They can't control themselves or their feelings and opinions around you, and there is no reason for you to be around them or care about their feelings until they can talk to you with compassion and as their daughter. It doesn't matter what they wanted for you, it matters what you want for yourself. It sounds like you want a loving partner and a happy life, and you've built that despite them trying to lure you away from the path you are on. Good luck, OP. Congrats on your wedding, even if it wasn't super recent. Your wedding is supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life, and it sounds like it was happier without your parents. From my own experience, lots of people try to weigh in on wedding choices. Ultimately, they are your choices, and you have to do what you think is best for you and your spouse. Also, if your parents were interested, it sounds like they had time to apologize and get the details. They didn't. I wish you a very happy life with your new wife. She's your family now, and I hope you will take care of each other. At the end of the day, a wedding truly is at your own discretion, and I don't believe someone against your relationship should be present. Especially with the gaggle it could cause should one of them object during the ceremony. Though you are in the right to not have invited them, I personally believe you should have at least told them you were getting married, excluding the location of course, so that they could understand your frustration with them and have time to think about their actions, rather than be surprised with the news. Just remember that no matter the outcome of your relationship with your parents, Jenny is your family now, and they will be forced to get over their bad feelings towards her in order to maintain a healthy relationship with your new family. My sister gave birth to her twins boy and girl in June of 2020. She had been living with me before then after being evicted. I have 3 kids and work full-time, and I told her if she was going to keep her babies, she was going to have to find other living spaces. I have a 2-bedroom and it's cramped already. I'm not sacrificing my room to share with her and 2 newborns. She said okay. When she was 6 months pregnant, she said she was going to give her baby up for adoption and contacted this top adoption agency. They sent her a pamphlet of potential parents. I was shocked since she never brought up giving them up for adoptions. I felt guilty and told her if she got a job and paid me $400 a month, maybe we could find a 3-bedroom. She said she doesn't want to be a mom and she's made up her mind. She ended up choosing a very wealthy couple for her baby. They both made 6 figures and had a very clean, squeaky look to them. I told her they looked stuck up and she said that she wanted her twins to live an upper-class lifestyle. The agency and couple flew her out to their city in a 5-star hotel for the rest of her pregnancy. It was supposed to be an open adoption, and when my sister came back they did send pictures once a month by mail. When the twins were about 6 months, all of a sudden they ghosted my sister, deleted all their social media handles to probably create new ones, and even moved. My sister had a breakdown, and I was equally shocked. The agency brushed her off and said the parents have the right to do whatever they want and told her not to call again unless she was pregnant. For weeks I pitied my sister until she got drunk and told me something. She said that she texted the adoptive mom that she needed $2,000 because she wants to go back to school or something, and the mom told her she doesn't feel comfortable with my sister messaging her asking for money, and my sister told her that they're beyond rich and $2,000 is what they spend in a day, so they're not hurting, and that's when they ghosted her. That changed things for me, and I told my sister that she shouldn't have done that and that maybe they had a point. She started crying and is still giving me the cold shoulder. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is a tough situation. I'm an adoptive mom and fully believe that open adoptions are the best, but there do have to be boundaries. It's certainly possible that the adoptive parents are bad and went nuclear with the blocking and ghosting for no reason, birth mom didn't fit their perfect family image, etc. But given that your sister admitted to begging for a significant amount of money once, it also seems likely that she'd crossed boundaries more often than that. She needs to give them some time, reflect, and maybe ask the adoption agency to pass a letter along eventually to hopefully re-establish reasonable contact. The parents are protecting their children from a birth mother that's going to use them for the rest of their lives for money. If they let it go once, she'll keep doing it. She didn't adopt out the children because they were a good couple, but because they had money. Good on them for doing what's needed to protect their children. They probably told the agency what happened, and that's why they don't want to help. Your sister couldn't even wait a year before asking for money. Your sister did not become a relation of the adoptive parents through the open adoption. She was way out of line demanding money from them the way she did for something that was not related to the twins, and then talking back in a really insolent way. Had she asked nicely, maybe for a loan rather than a gift, they might even have helped her, but the way things went down with her texts, it is understandable that the adoptive parents went no contact. It is a hard truth, but you were not the idiot in telling it.